Hi, I'm Michelle Bega with a look at what's happening in Latin America now. But first, our news trivia. In which South American country has the president been fined and placed under house arrest for allegedly failing to protect a national park? We'll have the answer later. The United States is hosting the Summit of the Americas for the first time since its inaugural session in 1994. The event is being held in Los Angeles this week. U.S. President Joe Biden is meeting with most heads of state in the Americas, but there were some noticeable absent. The president of Mexico, Honduras, and Guatemala decided not to attend. In addition, Cuba, Nicaragua, and Venezuela were left off the guest list. In a last-minute change, the president of Uruguay said he would not be in attendance because of a positive COVID diagnosis. The leaders that did participate talked about their efforts to boost the economy after the pandemic. They also discussed forming partnerships on climate and energy, food security, and healthcare. Mexico held gubernatorial elections this weekend in 6 different states. The country's ruling party won 4 of the 6 governorships on the ballot. This means that out of Mexico's 32 regional governments, 20 are led by the president's party. The results showed that President Andrés Manuel López Obrador and his Morena party continue to gain strength leading up to the presidential elections in 2024. The Dominican Republic's Minister of Environment was shot dead in his office. The shooting occurred while he was holding a meeting. Orlando Jorge Mera was 55. He had been part of the cabinet since President Luis Abinader swept to power in July 2020. Witnesses said they heard at least 6 shots inside the victim's office. They also said the shooter was a longtime friend of the minister and surrendered himself to police later on. And now let's go to my colleague Al Baverstock in Mexico. He has a report on a new U.S.-bound migrant caravan that left southern Mexico earlier this week.
Made up of at least 6,000 people, the migrant caravan has been timed to coincide with the Summit of the Americas, where migration policy will be one of the major topics of discussion. These events of mass migration through Mexico are often sparked by the overwhelming numbers of migrants being held at this country's southern border with Guatemala. Moving en masse is the migrants' only way to break through police blockades and avoid organized crime on the increasingly perilous route north to the US border, where record numbers of migrants attempted to cross illegally last year. But with no signs of migrant numbers decreasing, the pressure on leaders in Los Angeles for actual solutions to the migration crisis will be greater than ever.
Now let's take a look at what stories we're following for next week. First, in Colombia, 5 people were arrested in connection to the murder of a Paraguayan prosecutor last month. Prosecutor Marcelo Pecci was fighting organized crime. He was killed while on his honeymoon on Colombia's Caribbean island Baru. President Iván Duque said in a video message that the men captured were not only thought to be involved, but that one of them is believed to have fired the weapon. More details are expected to emerge as those involved appear before a judge. Paraguay's President Mario Abdo thanked Colombian authorities for their rapid response. Second, Venezuela is starting to see international artists return to its stages. Major concerts virtually disappeared over the past decade due to the political crisis that threw the economy into a downward spiral of inflation and job loss. But now a de facto dollarization of the economy is attracting artists, and they're including Venezuela on their regional tours. Legendary Argentinian rock singer Fito Páez, for example, announced this week he'll perform in Caracas on October 10th. The government has given up on restricting transactions with the US dollar, so some Venezuelans with private sector jobs seem to be able to afford a season of concert tickets. And now the answer to our news trivia. The answer is A. A court in Colombia has not only issued President Iván Duque a fine, but also ordered him to be placed under house arrest for a total of 5 days. Duque is accused of failing to comply with a ruling that demanded the president to protect a national park. While this seems to be a first, experts say it will not be carried out, as the president can only be accused, investigated, and tried by Congress. And that's it for this week. We'll see you again soon on Latin America Now.